and to the rest of our viewers across the globe. Welcome to the 33rd episode of the weekly virtual Big B Meetup. Big B Meetup is a community initiative founded in 2018 in Doha. And in April 2020, the pandemic gave birth to the virtual edition. Big B Meetup is inspired by the people of Qatar, both local and expatriate, and dedicated to my mother. It aims to inform, to educate, to inspire, and bring communities together. This episode is themed on championing Arab sportswomen as we count down towards Qatar National Sports Day. Our guests today are Omani free spirit adventurer Noor Al Huda Al Mantari. I hope I got that right.
Yes, you did.
And Reem Al Mufta, enigmatic wellness advocate and athlete. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. Yeah, Noor, as you being a guest from Oman,
Thank
we'd
you.
like to start off with you, because I always say ladies first, but I'm like, who do I start with? So, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Noor Al Mandari. Well, you can call me Noor, by the way. You don't have to call me Noor Al Huda, but that's my actual name. I was born in Oman and I live in Muscat. I'm a petroleum engineer by profession. I do sports and adventures. Well, I've been doing that for the past couple of years only. It hasn't been a long time, actually. And I think we'll go through the questions, and I think that will cover most of what is about me.
Lovely. Reem, would you like to introduce yourself to our guests also?
Sure. I'm Reem Al Muftah. I'm a wellness advocate here in Doha for the community. I grew up in Muscat for 3 years. My dad was an ambassador there. I lived in Vienna, Austria as well, but the majority of my life was in Doha, Qatar. Yeah. And alhamdulillah, I enjoyed it to the maximum. And studied in Carnegie Mellon here in QF and business administration, worked in petroleum for 8 years. So we're very similar in different ways. And then now working in the sports medicine and hospital here in Qatar, Aspaytar and Aspire Zone. And yeah, you'll find out more about me throughout this beautiful interview, inshallah.
Absolutely, yeah. So going back to Noor, a petroleum engineer on weekdays and a serial adventurer on weekends. You're living the life.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been when I initially graduated, I got a job as a petroleum engineer, and the moment I started working and just being focused on my job, it's been ongoing for almost 3 years, until I got a little bit like, okay, there must be more into life. And that's where the outdoor life started. And I just began going into adventures here in Oman. We, as most of the Arab world know, that we have so much to do outdoors. So I started going on small hikes, and I began with upsails. And then that all started in around 2017, I would say. And then when 2018 came into the picture, I'm like, okay, it's time to climb a mountain. And the only reason why I did that is because I felt a little bit disconnected from myself. And for me, it was more of a self-discovery journey. I wanted to figure out who I am, why am I here, why was I created? It cannot be just me getting a job and just doing my job and that's it. There must be more into life. Yeah. So that's when I saw the Kilimanjaro mountain appearing on my feed a lot for quite some time. And I'm like, okay, this is a mountain that I should start with. And that all happened in 2018. And the moment I came back from that mountain, I got, as they say, the mountain bug. And I just couldn't stop. So I went towards more adventures in my country. And that's where, I think that's where my serious adventures began. Like it was,
You're a lovely narrator. Really, I'm actually wanting to start with my first question, but you've already gone to my fourth question. I'm
Oh,
like,
sorry.
wow, this lady is really
Well,
sweet and.
I'm telling a story here,
But
so
what
please.
I want to start is, when did you, you're an adventurer from birth as a kid, because you've been living in Oman, and
Yes,
through your bio, I read that you you started adventure much early. So I want to
that's
know,
true.
I want you to recollect as a kid,
Yes,
adventure, because not many, I want the kids of today to throw away their PS4s or fives or whatever they are,
true.
and get out into the wild, into the world. You know what I
Of
mean?
course.
Because it's healthy and you don't.
100%. I mean, I was very lucky to be raised by my parents, who are, especially my dad, who is a very outdoorsy man. Like, most of the people and most of my family say that, okay, you're like exactly like your dad. So since we were young, he used to take us out. And actually, a lot of families in Oman, and I'm talking about people who live within the city, have been doing this.
Mhm.
But if you go outside the city, and where the villages is that that's their life. That's what they do. They do that for a living in the past. So it's
Okay.
all within our culture and heritage. Um, but since I was young, my dad used to take us on camps and hikes within we call it wadis,
Okay.
and the beaches. So we used to do that a lot when I was young. And I remember, like, when we used to go to wadis, we used to jump from cliffs, and I was just jumping all over the place. I had no fear when I was younger. Not so and we've been doing that for most of my childhood until I went to the university, and that's where my personal life mostly began. And that's where all of these things posed for so many years until I came back again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I would like to move to Reem and ask her a couple of questions, actually. So, Reem, you're a mom, an athlete, a fitness instructor, a wellness advocate, a newspaper columnist. Gosh, did I miss out on anything here? Oh, yeah, you work at Aspeta.
Yeah.
How how do you balance this? What is the key to your balancing act?
It took me a long time to get to that answer. And it was a lot of trial and error and making some mistakes with time management. But that's when I realized it's all about time management and being real with yourself. So honestly, the two things I would say that help you balance anything in your life is, well, for me personally, time management goes into having to-do lists and priority lists. So keeping me on track with my priorities was really important to me. And I love the idea of having a list and then crossing something off when it's done. It's so satisfying to me. And then secondly, it's being honest with yourself, because you have to be practical and realistic. If you want to do something, you have to be real and know that you will want to and you will try to do it. So I found that I have things that I do want to, but I won't try. And then some other things where I really do want to, and I'll do anything I can to get those things done and continue them in my life and have a different lifestyle. So it's all about time management and being real with yourself and just practicing realistic, principles in your life.
Yeah, that's true. Can you give us one point on each of these? Where, as a mom, how do you balance being a mom and then an athlete, and a fitness instructor? So can you give us one point on each, if you could say, like, what would you
Sure.
say?
Okay, so with being a recent mom, I learned that all my other priorities became second priority, and two, third, and four, and five,
Yeah.
obviously. So the most important thing to me is being a mother right now. But I'm trying my hardest to balance that lifestyle and to still incorporate health and wellness and all of the above. So with motherhood, it's just being a mother first and then making time, because you're responsible for making your own time and time to do whatever you need to do besides being a mother. In regards to being a columnist, I just love writing about things that I actually have a question about, and then I research it and then share the information with everyone else. So it's not all about my own experience or what I practice or currently do. It's about me writing about what I know, as well as finding out things and educating myself with everybody else as well. When it comes to being a fitness instructor, I only got recently into that course and certified recently, so I haven't practiced that, and I don't think I will be practicing it, but I wanted it for my own knowledge. And then what else is there? An athlete, yes.
Yeah.
Since I was young, again, parents play a huge role in your upbringing. So my parents, alhamdulillah, I love them. They made me realize that sports and fitness are open to boys and to girls, to
True.
all nationalities, and
Can you
I
repeat
wanted
that
to
again?
break those
That's a very
barriers we had
strong
in the
statement.
community. Sorry?
Can you repeat that sentence? It's a very strong statement. It's open to boys and girls.
Yes, it has to be, an option for everyone, to be honest. So I wanted to break that barrier and make it really obvious here in Qatar that women can actually do the same and practice having a healthy lifestyle and being open about it as well. So I hope that's working. And in regards to working in Espetar, obviously it's my job and I love to work in the sports field. So whenever you have your passion involved with your job, it's easy to work. So always a good idea to follow your passion and as much as you can incorporate it into your career.
True, true. Reem, when did you take up to fitness as a fitness instructor? Did you go through your paces and get an instructor's medal or accreditation? How did that go? And your wellness journey?
So I could talk about this forever, but I'm not going to because I'll bore you guys. But in a nutshell, it began when I was a little kid in elementary when we had our fitness classes and our exercise PE classes, obviously. And I
Okay.
just love being active and using my energy in a good way instead of driving my parents crazy. So in middle school and high school in my school, luckily I was blessed to have a school that offered sports to everybody and offered the practicing and getting into a team, which was it instilled in me competitiveness as well as the passion like to actually try and practice and fail or succeed or whatever it
Yeah.
is. So at a young age I was playing football and basketball and tennis,
Wow.
and then that continued for every year of school until I graduated. And then in high school as well, they offered us a beautiful class that was about weightlifting. So I entered that class and then khalas, done. I was obsessed with weightlifting and continued that throughout. And after that, university as well, continued playing football and basketball, creating the teams in my university and finding a wellness club and all of the above. But then I only realized after university that when I began my working life that I didn't have that void wasn't getting filled with sports and all that stuff because I was more working and then home sleeping. So I had to find a way to be actively well. So I found the importance for wellness in general and making time for it, even though you're a working woman and possibly having different roles at home and outside of the home. So that made me push myself into practicing healthy lifestyle continuously, and then leading now to this recent fitness instructor certification.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Really awesome. And you've been writing for Gulf Times, a local daily in Qatar, an English daily for a long time. When did that begin, and how are you managing that? Because is it a daily column or weekly?
It's a weekly column, and I think it's been 2 years only, I think. But yeah, I had got the opportunity from the newspaper, and it was offered as an option, and I just grabbed it automatically because it's a once a week thing. So why not, And I'm able to help others and also help myself by educating myself through having that motive of writing an article every week.
Wow, yeah, yeah, that's lovely. I'm going to come back to you, Reem. Let me go back to the mountains. Yeah, yeah, and uh, Noor, give us a little bit about something that's very interesting to me right now. That's one of the big reasons I'm talking to you here today is you're the founder of a phenomenal community initiative in Oman called Huna.
Yes.
Yeah. When, why, how, and where do you want to take Huna to? Yeah. With that
Okay,
said,
so perhaps I can give the audience a little bit of an insight about the platform. So this is a very, like, it just started a few months ago. I started a platform called Hunna with the help of my friends, and I currently have my partner in collaborations and working as well, Wasal Rajdi. So this all started in during the pandemic when I was home, stuck,
yeah.
doing nothing, away from my mountains, away from traveling. And basically there were a lot of things happening online, and I was in the middle of watching women empowering women through different platforms. I have really good connections as well with women who have been approaching me as well as an individual to speak about my stories in the mountains. So the idea came from that. It came from me being empowered by these women, and I'm like, okay, I just realized that we don't really have like an online community that is really focused on adventurers and athletes in Oman. And most of the women that I know who are within my circle and my friends, who achieved huge amazing things within the country and outside the country, in sports and adventures that no one knows about. But because they're within my circle and I know their stories, I'm like, okay, these stories deserve to be heard. I was given the opportunity to tell my story at different platforms, and now it's time for these stories to get out. So this is exactly how Hunna started, and this is why it all started. It's literally to tell stories of and focus and put some spotlight on these women who are not much into social media or not much into telling their stories, and you just need to get them out there and get their stories out as well. um, so it's literally to feature them, speak about women who have achieved and done something, and even speak about women who are behind the scenes and are unknown. So yeah, it started in September. Well, it started way before that. It started in July 2020.
Mhm.
Um, I had the idea, and I applied that on my personal account, and it was so funny. I had no name, no logo, no nothing. And then I approached a few friends. I had a friend who helped me with the logo, a friend who actually helped me with the photos. So if you open the platform photos, the launching
Mhm.
photos was me wearing an Omani dress,
Mhm.
but I was wearing my hiking gear. So I had my pole, I had my hiking boots, and I had my cap.
Oh
So
wow.
it's more of a mixture of the old days where indeed the Omani women, if you go back to my grandmothers, and they used to go out with these clothes on the mountains.
Oh wow.
It was literally reflecting the history of my country with the current athletes and the current adventurers. That's how we get out. So it was a huge like, I posted those launching photos in like few days, 2 day in a day or two. Like the second day, it went viral. It was crazy.
Can you can you share your social media handle with us of Huna and or the website? Can you do that?
Sorry.
Can you share the website and the social media handles of
So we
Huna?
currently we only have an Instagram account called hunna.om.
How
Um,
do you, can you spell it out?
HUNNA.om.
Okay.
So yeah, so currently we just recently also, so now what we've been doing is that we're still on the go. We're still trying to figure out where this is going, but it's been quite a journey. There's a lot that happened in between. That will take a lot of time to say as well, but just a little bit of highlights. We covered a few women in our platform so far, but the moment we started, we had two women having activities during the duration. So we had a woman who was crossing Oman from the north to the south
Wow.
in a straight line, crazy,
Wow.
in 50 days. And she did it because of our 50th Eid al-Watani. So
Okay.
basically, she crossed it in 50 days. We had another woman who crossed Salala, Muscat Salala in 30 days to
Wow.
promote the environment and the importance of saving the environment. And
Impressive.
we also had a number of things happening. But I would say the most interesting one that we really had as a platform is that we went to the FAR It's in Oman. It's in the south of Oman, and no one really knows about the athletes and adventurers in the far. Even some people did not even expect that they exist. And myself and my partner, we managed to find them, and we covered their stories on our platform as well, and it was huge. So what Hun is trying to do is trying to showcase those women who are behind the scenes, who are not known, who are doing so much but no one knows about them, and getting their stories out, and it kind of created. It's We're still in the creation of the community, and still in the creation of telling those stories a little bit deeper and in a better, and perhaps in other platforms as
Okay.
well. But so far, it has been on Instagram.
Reem, what do you think we invite Huna to Qatar later this year or early next year? What do you think about that?
No,
Would
we
you?
have to have them, and because it's very good because Oman has such a beautiful, like, environment that you have so many opportunities to be outdoorsy and to be adventurous. So I'm jealous, mashallah, Allah yahfaz Oman. Um, but yes,
We're
we
very
have
lucky
to bring them
indeed.
there. And then also vice versa, take girls there.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. We
Well,
like. I
well,
would love to have. Uh, Inshallah, hopefully, I can't say more because we're still in the plan, but hopefully, by end of this year, we will have a couple of adventurers and athletes from around the Gulf in Oman, and I'm really
yeah,
looking forward to have a number of women Reem among them, please, and like others from different.
yeah. That's my bone of contention with Noor because when I first asked Noor, why is Huna only for Omani women? She said, no, hang
No,
on.
it's the start. Hang on, yeah, give me some time. I need to get
Yeah,
my country out first.
absolutely. Yeah, because I just spoke to a few women and they're from different countries. One's from the UK and one's from the US and one's from India. And they all want to say, hey, we want to be part of Huna. I said, hang on, let her come on the show and put her on the spot there and you can ask her live.
I mean,
Uh,
it's 4 months only so far, so we'll give it
yeah.
some time.
I'm just having a small issue with the questions. Yeah, I don't know if you can see them, but they're not showing on the screen. But I can read a question for you. Reem, there's a question for you from Geraldine. She says, being a new mom herself, she'd like some tips on how you juggle between so many roles. Yeah,
Again, obviously, this is related to time management, and I feel her pain 100%. And first off, I tell everyone who's a new mother and is still trying to stay fit and active is that it's okay to put it on hold for as long as you need, because your baby needs you the most and you need your baby time the most. So don't feel pressured or guilty to not get right back on track. That's normal. But again, don't let it take too long for you to get back on track. So keep yourself accountable to it. But for me, honestly, it's pre-planning. I never used to like pre-planning and having a strict schedule or routine because I want to be flexible and go with my flow. And that's how I feel people love their lives more, is that not feeling the pressure of following a strict schedule. So the thing is though, you have to pre-plan. So the night before or the evening before, the 2 evenings before, I'll plan the meals accordingly, and I'll plan my meals, and I'll plan my schedule so that I do find that little opportunity of time to take for myself and be active. And it's really hard. So it's not going to be an easy thing to do automatically. It's going to take some time, but try your best to pre-plan and to actually have a schedule that you can easily follow by, and do not be unrealistic. You have to be severely realistic with yourself and know what you can manage and put on your plate, and never go into the cycle of feeling guilty or feeling down that you're not able to. It's fine.
wow, yeah.
I needed
And,
that advice. Thank you, Reem. Honestly.
Anytime.
oh, lovely. And we have greetings from one of my good friends from Germany. He is, in fact, the biggest and greatest football fan of Bayern Munich. His name is Michael Zeman. He's been on my show. He's actually flies in every time to Qatar when the Bayern Munich team fly in for their winter camp. And because they're the champions right now, they'll be in town in a week's time, or they're already in Doha, because the FIFA World Club Championships happen in February. So thank you, Michael, from I think he's in Munich or close to Munich. And we also have the American Women's Association President Elizabeth, who always is um, in our audience. And we have a question from Danny. He says, on top of all these talents, Reem, do you have any pets? I'm like, okay, I don't know. That's a question for
I
Reem.
think that's a trick question
Oh,
because
okay. Okay,
many people
cool.
know that I love animals and I love being outdoors, but I do not love having any pets indoors.
Oh, really? I was just going to say if you have a pet, because I'm a big advocate of animals rescue, and in fact, I have two pups here. We've rescued. Somebody's seen them on the road, and we've picked them up. And it's been a week today, week Saturday, and we just got them a forever home tomorrow. So one of the pups is leaving us tomorrow, and the other one will hopefully leave or will stay with us for another week or a month.
Inshallah, that's really nice of you guys.
Yeah, in fact we had two German shepherds with us in September last year for 4 months, and in November they flew to their forever home in Montreal. So we are big on animal rescue and welfare here in Qatar. Yeah, and
Inshallah, that's good.
I'm trying to do something there in the future for that program. Let's go back to the thick of things. Noor, we haven't yet touched upon the Mount Elbrus or base camp Mount Everest, Kilimanjaro, yes, but
Mhm.
you aim to reach all the seven summits in before
Hopefully.
your 30. Yeah. So and also I believe you if you can answer that, and also give us a story on being a roommate, or what did you call it, with Asma Altani. You were her. Uh,
Yes, yes, it's a small world, and I'll tell you the
yeah.
story. So after Kilimanjaro, I came home, and then I decided to climb Everest Base Camp, and it was, I think, March, April 2019.
There was a
It was,
big bug that bit you, huh? There was a big
sorry?
bug that bit you. There was a big bug that bit you. The adventure bug.
Oh yes, big time.
If you did
Exactly. I
three,
couldn't wait. It took
if
me a
you
few
did,
months to sign up. Exactly.
yeah,
So,
because didn't you do three races in less than a year? Three,
oh yeah.
sorry, three.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, after summer 2018, beginning of 19, I had to go to a mountain. It was actually led by Mohammed Al-Thani. He's the first Qatari to actually summit the seven summits. So he's
Yeah.
amazing. And
Yeah.
part of the trip was to go to Everest Base Camp and then continue to one of the peaks in the Himalayas, which is Island Peak, and it's slightly up. It's around actually around 6,200. And I'm like, okay, I want to go and try a mountain above 6,000. That was the whole idea of doing this, and also to look at Everest for the first time.
Wow.
So this is very funny. My roommate was Esma Thani, and she actually was a roommate of one of the Omani adventurers in the North Pole a couple
Oh,
of
yeah,
years.
she's the first Qatari to reach North Pole.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was in the North Pole with Anisa Raisi, who's an amazing Omani adventurer, and they crossed the North Pole together.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea they were roommates. Okay. And she was my roommate at Everest Base Camp. I'm like, so we started talking, and she started telling me, by the way, there was an Omani girl with me. And I'm like, wait a second, and it was such a coincidence. So yeah, she was my roommate up to Island Peak, and we were together. She's amazing. She's extraordinary,
Yeah.
by the way. I don't know if she's watching, but yeah, I mean, it was such a pleasure to
I,
have her.
sent- I sent her the link. I sent her the link. So thank
Great,
you.
great. And we were a huge group. So we had a group from all over the Gulf, from Kuwait, mainly from Kuwait and Qatar, I would say. So
Mhm.
I had Ahmed Jabri, I had Mothani, who else as well? And yeah, as well as Asma. Like, these are the guys from Qatar,
Fantastic.
I would say. Yeah.
Lovely. So have you put a plan together to summit all the seven summits?
Okay, so I like to take my time, I would say. So I like to try. So far I've managed to climb a Kilimanjaro and Elbrus. So after Everest Base Camp, which was in 2019, um, that was in March, April, I decided to climb Elbrus in July 2019. I think it was July, August. So yeah,
Okay.
it just took me a few months to sign up for the next one. Like, I just couldn't. And that was my second summit, and that it was my first, I would say, more of a technical mountain than the others that I've climbed before. Um, and yes, I would love to try more mountains and climb. So hopefully this year, which was my 2020 plan, hopefully I want to go back to Island Peak because
Okay.
it gives me a lot of what I want to do. And I would love to go to Switzerland. So I'm not really having the seven summits completely in my mind, but
Okay.
it is part of the journey.
Yeah,
Aconcagua is one of the
absolutely.
mountains that I would definitely want to climb. So there are specific mountains that I don't know why I can't explain, but it just gives me this calling, this attraction. Like, okay, you need to climb that mountain, and I would just
Exactly that.
go ahead and train with it.
And
Yeah,
do you document it? Do you have a little book of yours where you write your
I
your
have
your,
a
jour-
journal.
your
I
journal?
have my
Your journal.
personal journal that but it's more very personal. Like I share everything that I go through and in my mind. Um,
Okay.
I do share a few photos on my Instagram account and I speak about it shortly, but I haven't really documented things for people to read. No,
Okay. So are you thinking of obviously every adventurer thinks of writing a book at some point, and I'm sure you are.
maybe. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on to Reem. Reem, what is a perfect day? How do you sum it up? What is a perfect day in the life of Reem Al Mufta? And what I would like to know, and a couple of people who've told me, I mean, asked me to ask you, I don't know why they can't ask you directly, is what is Reem's workout regime? I'm like, okay, I'll put it up there.
Okay, so a day in the life of Dream is a little bit chaotic, but to give you the easy version and the simple version is I like the most important thing to me that everyone thinks is cliche or not so important is my morning routine. I actually look forward to that every morning when I wake up, and that is some hot water with lemon, and then going to having some fresh juice made with pulp, with full of pulp. And I like preparing these things with my own hands myself because when you buy into these kinds of things, you actually make it into a permanent habit and you live by it. So I love preparing my juice myself because that's how my parents did it every morning. They prepared our juice for us every morning. And that's been stuck with me since then. And then obviously I take fruit, really important. So the hot water lemon and then the fresh juice and then my smoothie. And I just stuff a bunch of superfoods into that because, you know, the easiest way to get all those veggies or fruits is a smoothie or a soup. It's the simplest way and the simplest thing to do. So I always look for efficiency and a blender is efficient. Then after that, obviously, motherhood and being a working mother, I either take care of my child if I'm at home. Now that we're not working from home anymore, I obviously go to work, come back, and then have a well balanced lunch, and then take on that throughout the whole day of being a mother, being active at home, being active with my family, and either writing an article or doing work after hours or working
Wow.
on a class like
So
for the fitness instructor class. But sorry.
how many hours do you have in your day?
Exactly.
Oh.
It's amazing.
Oh, and then the most important thing for me is in the evening hours is now that I know that I don't have time to hit the gym as of yet and go back to that usual routine of mine, I am opting for more cardio, which is power walking, interval jogging, and doing whatever I can to stay active. And obviously, in my home, I'm never sitting down. And to me, that's the best way of being active. There's no excuse. Even when you're at home, you should be active. So I'm literally holding my daughter and I'm squatting to pick up, you know, some shoes, or I'm squatting to pick up whatever she dropped on the floor. So I'm always thinking about ways to actually incorporate my usual workout routine in my activity at home. And my usual regime in the gym is weightlifting and doing it by body parts. So chest and bi, back and tri, legs, and I'll do legs twice a week. That's the
Wow.
hardest thing to work on, and I push myself to do that. So I do spend an hour and a half in the gym daily, except for Fridays or Saturdays, depending on family events. And if not in the gym, which I haven't gone back to yet, honestly, is just the light cardio and looking for any way to be active because literally, even stairs, I love my stairs. I go up and down my stairs maybe 20 times a day. So stairs are a really big lifesaver to me.
Wow, that's amazing. Talking of superfoods, what is your superfood, Reem? Go to superfood.
Honestly, it's berries. I love strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, and
Oh,
everyone forgets about the frozen bags of black currants, red currants, cranberries. You don't
yeah,
find them as fresh produce usually, and they have
yeah.
so many vitamins to offer and fiber and antioxidants. So for me, it's fruit and veggies are my superfood. Obviously, I'm a carnivore and I love my meat. I can never forget my meat. But definitely, fruits and veggies get you so much in one and help you with your system. So it's fruit in general, and then specifically berries.
Wow. Okay. Talking of carnivore, I wanted to say this: the female of the species is deadlier than the male. And in context of you guys are, being so adventurous, and you are, I believe, you are inspiring not only the female of this world, but also the males with your regimes, with your adventure stories. Uh, I want to know, Reem, what are your future goals as a writer? Let's say, let's start with the writing bit, and then with your fitness regime and your advocacy as a wellness guru.
Well, thank you for that compliment. I don't know if I'm a guru, but I'll take it. Definitely. My goals, honestly, I have just goals this sounds as well kind of cliche, but my goal in life is to benefit others any way I can.
Wow.
So I don't have strict specific goals in regards to my wellness journey, except for consistency in staying fit and active and being an advocate. That's the most important thing, consistency and being honest with yourself. But honestly, I have a lot of followers that I just love listening to because they give me the motivation. Because I'm the kind of person who doesn't want to push myself out there when people don't want to hear from me. Everything to me has to happen organically. All the opportunities that come to me, I've been blessed with, came to me organically, not me looking after them or looking for them. I'm a firm believer of that, opening your doors and letting see what comes towards you.
Great.
So I put that positive energy out there and see what comes back. So, for example, I have a really like amazing follower that now is my friend, to be honest, and she's motivating me to put all my articles into a book at one point. And I really loved that idea and said, you know what, like I'm not looking for a book deal. I'm not looking to be a
Yeah.
very established author, but why not, put those small articles that I write every week into a collection that can actually benefit someone that actually
Sure.
wants to read small, quick things that can help their health and their
Absolutely.
wellness.
Are you working on the book then?
Sorry,
Are you working on the book then?
not yet. I'm waiting to hit 100 articles. I've now written approximately 70 articles, so I have a
Okay.
few more weeks.
Okay, cool. If you're looking to collaborate with a photographer, I'm here.
Allah, you're my man.
Yeah, yeah. And it's one of my aims to publish a book too, on a photo library book on Qatar, from Big B Photography, from my vision, and for my eyes, and hopefully before December 2022. I wanted to be in all the
Inshallah.
stadiums. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And yeah, talking of 2022, Michael from Germany has a question for Noor here. What made you decide to climb on mountains, Noor? Nice one, Michael.
Um, there was a time in my life, maybe I haven't explained it well in the beginning, but there was a time in my life during my career, and it was 15, 16, 17, it's 4 years. After 4 years of working and just focusing on work, I wasn't happy. And I felt that something was missing. And I felt that there must be more into life. And and I that's where I started to climb. Well, I started within small adventures within Oman. We're very lucky to have so much to do. And then and Kilimanjaro was appearing on my feed all the time, and I'm like, it called me, and I felt it. This mountain called me, and the moment that I signed up, and these words I've learned it from an amazing man called Samir. He actually works with the Rahala. Rahala is an adventure company, and it's based in Dubai.
Okay.
And he told me the moment you sign up, Noor, is the moment that you already started climbing your mountain.
I heard
And
of Valhalla, yeah.
and it's really felt that way. And I just kept on training every single day. It gave me a purpose. So mountains give me purpose. I learned so much from out of it. I learned so much about me and who I am and who I want to be, from the mountains. And you don't get enough out of it because every mountain gives you something different. And sometimes when you're back into your regular life and you feel like, okay, now I need a refresher. Now I need to get back into myself. And that's where you go online again and be like, okay, what's the next mountain? And it just gives you that drive, and you give so much more into your training. You give so much. For me, it's purpose. It's happiness. It's passion. It opens so much doors to me, doors that I never thought that would ever open. It was never in my mind ever. I never knew that I would ever climb mountains. I never knew that Hunna will be created. Like all of the things that has been going on in my life, at least since the day that I started climbing, it has changed my life completely, because I've changed. I've changed a lot as a person, and it just helps me grow. And it's taking me to the path that I always wanted to be in, honestly. So yeah, I think that's why I keep on climbing mountains.
Yeah, Michael's question takes me to my question to you. One memory you can recollect from your toughest mountain terrain or climb or adventure, something
Okay.
like, you know.
I was in so it was in Everest Base Camp. So we got to Everest Base Camp, and then so we were a group of like 10 to 12 people, and I think 6 of us signed up for Island Peak. So we had to continue all the way to the Island Peak. It's one of the peaks in the Himalayas. So we had to walk to Island Peak Base Camp and then continue to our summit day. So we were 4. So 2 people got sick. They had to go down. So it was only 4 of us. It was me, Mo, and actually it was Esma. And one of the guys called Armand. He's amazing. And we continued all the way to Island Peak Base Camp. And I was always the one at the back. Because when I always learned, like, okay, when you're in the mountains with altitude, be careful, don't go too fast. But I was like always back at the backs. I always had my guide. Like I was 5 to 10 minutes away from them, which is not too long. But the moment I got to Island Peak Base Camp, I had a breakdown. Oh. I don't know why, but I think I was too scared because it was a mountain that it's not just for you to hike on it. No, it's a real peak. Like you go through the ladders, you go through a 200 meters ascent with the axe. So these are the things that I haven't tried or done before. And when I got to the base camp, I'm like, oh my God, am I doing this for real? You know, and I just had a moment. So the Sherpa came to me and he's like, why are you crying? And I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm scared and I'm not sure how I'm going to be or how I'm going to react. Am I going to be able to do this? You know? And he's like, he asked me this. It was an amazing question. He was like, how many people from your country has stood on this place, stood here before, where you're standing right now? And I'm like, no one, because I don't think anyone has tried this before. I'm not sure. I don't know. Like nothing is documented, so I don't know. But as far as I know, no one. And he's like, fine, but you're here. And he's like, if you weren't strong enough to be here, like you wouldn't be here. You're strong. You're here. You're with a group of, you know, Esma's amazing. She's done the North Pole and all of that. Yeah. Mo has done the 7 summits. So they're all huge achievers. And I'm the girl with the Kilimanjaro, you know, like with that mountain, which is not easy, but this is way tougher.
Humble.
Exactly. So I had a moment, but honestly, his questions were amazing. So that was a tough moment, but honestly, I needed it before the summit. And suddenly it was a good day. It was perfect. The weather was great, but suddenly we had a snowstorm in the island, in our camp. So they're like, okay, it depends on the weather if we're going tonight or not. And I was like, I really want to go here. Like I have to go to this mountain. I have to go to the summit. I have to try this. I was just so pushy to do it. And they're like, okay, go to bed, go to sleep. And if it turns to be, and if we wake you up around 11 p.m., we're going. If we don't wake you up, we're not going. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
I couldn't sleep that night. I couldn't sleep. And I was looking at my watch. And I'm like, okay, it's 11 p.m. Where are they? And I kept on looking at my watch up to 12 a.m. And I'm like, no one came. I opened my tent and I'm like, okay, who is out there? No one. And I'm like, okay, it seems like we're not going. So when I woke up that morning, one of the Sherpas had a camera with him, and he came to my tent. And I just woke up, like I had a very messy face. Everything was there, and I opened my tent. And he had a camera. He was like, "How do you feel?" And I'm like, "What?" And I just started crying, and I'm like, I'm sad. Like I'm happy and sad. I don't know. I had mixed feelings, and I'm like, I really wanted to go here. I was scared and terrified yesterday, but when I realized we're not there, I was like, no, I need to go back to this mountain, and I have to do it. And then I think after I was going through some personal crisis, I wouldn't say crisis, it's too dramatic, but I was having some. It was a tough time for me in my personal life, and it's funny. I go to the mountains to give me answers, and the mountains do give me answers. And this particular experience, I realized its answer not immediately on spot, but a year after. Literally, I was reflecting on it at the beginning of 2020, and this happened in 2019. And I was talking about it, and I'm like, wait a second. This is why it happened. This is why I never went to the peak. It was so relatable to what was going on in my personal life. Like you want something so much, and you're like, I'll do anything to be there and do it, but it doesn't happen. And you feel sad, but somehow I was relieved. I was relieved that it did not happen. It was so strange, and this was so relatable to whatever I was going on, and it was true. Like I wanted something so much, and it didn't happen. I was so sad. But the moment I went away and walked away from it, I felt like a butterfly. So I go to the mountains for personal reasons. It's a relief, and I go for answers. You don't realize it sometimes immediately, but it comes to you not just once. It comes to you over time, even in moments that you won't realize that it would come to you. It's so strange. It's crazy, and I think this is why I'm like, okay, I'm going to this mountain. Why? Because I want to get this answer, and I would go for that answer, and it would happen. It's unbelievable. I
Yeah.
mean,
You said you're a butterfly. That reminds me of my good Qatari friend Khalid Al Jaber. He came up with a movie on, and he's called it Ana Faranja. He calls himself that.
wow,
And he is the first Arab he's the first Arab to trans navigate from Anchorage to the tip of South America in about
wow,
6 or 8 months. And he has been, in fact, Mo, Asma, Khalid, and another. Oh my God, she'll kill me that I can't remember her name. She's known as a global Badu on social media,
okay,
uh, she's amazing. And they were my guests on my Big B meetup on Adventures of Arabia last year at Mo's pad in Lusail called Altitude, which I
wow,
believe he has one in the UAE as well.
yes.
Yeah.
And I keep on telling him, Mo, we want one Oman. He's like, okay. I'm like, I'm serious.
Okay, lovely. Uh, we have we're nearly there in time, but I want to just carry on with you guys because yes,
I
absolutely,
have a
madam.
question for Noor.
Sure, shoot.
I have a lot of I see people who are adventurers and what they do and how they're their process to actually becoming an adventurer or to being a climber, but I don't know specifics about the fitness involved in training to get to that point. So In a quick nutshell, what do you do to get fit and ready to actually, climb a mountain?
All right. It's purely endurance, endurance, strength, and conditioning. It's all of it. So I do a lot of strength, but focus mainly on my glutes, my legs, a lot of leg work, and
Makes
core. So I do a lot of that, and it's been getting better over time. Um, I run, so I run as well. I'm a runner, but not the fastest runner yet. So I've done a half marathon. I've done a 50 kilometers. Well, I signed up for a 50 kilometers ultra run, and I managed around 30 kilometers. That was in last year as well,
Oh, yeah.
2019. So I run as much as I can, and I do a lot of strength and conditioning because I'm not I'm not a big girl, so I need a lot of work on my muscles, and like I burn a lot, so I need to keep on eating. And sorry, my battery's low. I need to plug in my charger. But
Okay.
yeah, and and yeah, I mean, yeah. So I do run. I do strength conditioning, and stairs. Definitely, stairs with weights and the backpack
Wow.
is one of the best trainings that I've done on an endurance and strength level.
Gosh,
For
you guys
sure.
are already inspiring me. I need to get there.
I'll just plug in my charger. I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. Uh, Reen, your advice on somebody who wants to start a diet plan, what would you say? I think you're a strict disciplinarian, so it's not for me. Just generic because I think you'll be hitting me on my wrist if I don't do my diet plan properly. But please, can you elaborate on a diet plan for somebody who wants to start off?
Okay, when I advise people when they ask me these questions, I give them not the usual answer because I'm sick of hearing dietitians and nutritionists talking about a certain specific diet plan or do this or cut out this. I don't believe in any of that. I don't believe in counting calories. I don't believe in removing a food group from your diet. A diet should be well balanced. Fine. If you want to be vegetarian or vegan, you can do that, but make sure you're having full, meals that can compensate for the loss of the meats that you're eating and the dairy and the eggs or whatever it is. So my first tip, I would tell people who want to be more, let's say, strict with their diet and eat more clean and healthy and well balanced diet is to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. Are you capable and actually willing to make changes to your diet or not? Because the whole idea of being on a diet and just it's trending, being on a diet for a certain amount of time and then when they're done, halas, I'm done. I've reached my goal. Yalla, now go back to McDonald's and Burger King and KFC. No, it's a permanent, consistent lifestyle you have to follow. So these diets, these trends, removing food groups, having cheat days and cheat meals, no. Eat normal every day. Just try your hardest to eat clean, to eat well, and to have homemade food without all that added chemicals and, those high, calorie sauces and things they add to these meals. So be honest with yourself because people actually come to me and say, write me a diet plan and tell me what to do. Okay, I'll give you guidelines of what to follow to have a well-balanced diet, but don't tell me, oh, by the way, I just, had this meal here and this meal there, and I did this and did that. What are you doing? You're actually, self-sabotaging yourself and putting yourself up for failure if you're not ready to take the actually, to sacrifice and
Mhm.
make those changes. So it's an easy change to make if you firmly 100% believe in changing your ways of eating. So that's what I say to people.
Wow, that's a fantastic answer, and I'm going to take that and for myself also. Yeah,
Inshallah.
uh, yeah. Well, on a quick one, Noor, you mentioned you did a 30 kilometer. You signed up for a 50, but you did a 30 kilometer. But you
Yes.
didn't tell us the terrain. I believe it was in the mountains, so that's 50 for
Yes.
me.
Yes, it is, and it's actually an international race that happens in Switzerland as well. It's called
Okay.
UTMB. They've been doing it in Amman. I think it's the second year that happened in Amman. It actually began, the first year was around 130 kilometers. I think that was the minimum. It goes up to 100 and something. And I'm not a distance runner. I never did an ultra run before, but I was crazy enough to sign up for this because, well, the only reason why I do those races and I run and everything I do in terms of training is for the mountains. That's my ultimate goal. So I'm trying to get as fit as I could, and that's what got me into all of this, you know.
Wow.
So I signed up for the 50 kilometers run in Amman. It was on the mountains. It's actually known to be one of the hardest terrains around the world.
Wow.
Um,
What's it called? What is it called?
it's in Jabal. It's actually starts from Al Hamra. It's in
Okay.
Dakhliya. So we have regions in Amman. We have Batna, Dakhliya. So this was in Dakhliya. It started from Al Hamra all the way to Jabal Al Akhdar up to Jabal Shams. So, but by they had the 10 kilometers and the smaller ones, but I'm like, no, I need to do the 50. So I trained crazy for like a month or two. And it was honestly an unhealthy decision for my body. So my legs suffered a lot, and it didn't thank me for that. And I had my coach, who you know, Pierre,
Oh
who
yeah.
supported me to
Pierre
do this.
Daniel. Fantastic. Yeah.
Yes, so he's been coaching me from a distance, but he's amazing.
Yes, he is. He is.
He made me a better. Let's say out of this race, he made me a better runner, 100%.
Yeah.
Um,
He's
the
done.
only, sorry.
Sorry. Continue. Continue.
The only reason why I got into 30 is because you need to finish 50 kilometers in 12 hours, and you need to get to checkpoints at specific time. And if you're late, you're disqualified. So I got to this. So you only had there were only 3 checkpoints, and then khalas, the time is open for you to complete it up to 12 hours. So I got disqualified at the second checkpoint, and I was, I think, 7 minutes behind time or something like that. And I was this race made me suffer physically, mentally, during the training and after the race. It was like, it's tough. And I'm like,
Will you
what
do
made
it
me
again?
sign up for this? But there was a lot of learnings out of it. And I'm like, I need to do it again. I need to go
True.
back and train better. And when I say train better, like give myself more time to train for this kind of races, and give my body a little bit of respect, honestly.
I just.
So yeah, you need to make sure, like, guys, like, if you're gonna, this is an advice, and I'm sure Reem agrees with me, add more into it, Reem, if you want. But honestly, when you sign up for such races, you don't just go and do it. You need to train really well for it. And if you think that the time that you have for your particular body is not enough, it will happen again. So just wait, give it some more time, and just, so you don't harm your body, you don't harm yourself. So it's very important to sign up when you think your body is like, okay, now my body is in a better shape, so now I can sign up for these kind of races or mountains or whatever.
True. Or you can just.
100%.
Yeah.
It was a
Or,
learning, but yeah, it was great though.
or you can take the easy way out. Just blame Pierre for it. Just blame your trainer.
No. Honestly, he used to text me when I was on the mountain itself. Literally, when I was running, he used to check on me. He's like, "How far are you? Are you okay? How do you feel? I'm with
Wow.
you." So he was this
Yeah, Pierre is
he
amazing.
was with
Yeah,
me
he is.
while I felt his presence with me even when he was all the way from Qatar. That's
Mhm.
how amazing he is.
Yeah. Well, he was a guest on my show for Bastille Day
Wow.
with his wife and the PSG general manager of Qatar and
Yes.
Asia. So, and Pierre has also been a guest on my show year before last for National Sports Day with Bo Hashim, another fantastic cyclist of Qatar, and a couple of other people. So we are nearly out of time here. And what I want to say is, I am not done with you, ladies. I need to get you again on the show. Or better, no, better than this, actually, as we said in the beginning, Reem, we have to invite Noor and Hona to Qatar. Yeah,
Inshallah, we'll invite you and have you all in Amman for Hunna.
absolutely. Yeah,
Inshallah.
yeah.
And
So,
one's too beautiful, inshallah, by the way, you guys. Seriously, it's too beautiful.
We are waiting. Give us a date and time, and we are ready.
yeah.
Anytime.
On a parting note, since I'm still with Noor, could you give us your message of love and peace to everybody? And then I'd
Ah,
like that from Reem. Yeah.
I'm not sure what to say about that, but honestly, the moment that you start loving yourself and really looking out for yourself as an individual, um, it will give your surroundings more love. So, I mean, self love is something that I've learned, and I'm still learning over it. And the moment that I started giving myself that, that's the moment that I start sharing love all around me and giving my surroundings even more peace. So that's what I would say about love. Like, love yourself, take care of yourself, so you can treat the people around you better, so you can love them more and give them even more peace around you. So that would be my advice.
Thank you so much, Noor. Reem, over to you, Madam Reem.
I would say just try your best to help others when you can. I know that, again, it's cliche, but it does help you when you help others, because the smallest things can go such a far way. When I open my account, I realized how my small pieces of advice that are so usual and normal, although people will listen to it from me, it can go miles. So that's when I realized that social media is so powerful at these small things that you can tell anyone. Just thank you for being a mother, or thank you for being strong, or I appreciate, your efforts in trying to, raise awareness in Doha. These things can go so far. So seriously, be positive and help others and be nice to others as much as you can, because I'm seeing less of it in the world right now, and it makes me actually really sad. So please be
Very, very
positive and
true.
please help others.
Very, very true. Wow, very well said. And we got a lovely cherry on our cake here. This is a phenomenal person from Oman. He is the father of field hockey of Oman. He's Mr. Saeed Ali Suftain Naqvi. He is in his 80s, and he is brought field hockey to Oman. By the way, my
Wow.
father started a field hockey team in Qatar in the 70s, and Mr. Saeed has played with my father in India in the 60s. But he is now, I think he's a citizen, an honorary citizen of Oman. Yeah, and he was the coach of the Omani national team,
Wow.
and I told him and a couple of other friends in
Hello.
Oman. Yeah, so he's saying hello to us. Thank you, Mr. Saeed Ali Subtain Naqvi. It's an honor to have you here as a viewer, and it's pretty late for you there, isn't it? Yeah. Uh, Reem, I'd like to thank you, and Noor, thank you so much. It was
Thank you.
a fantastic learning experience from both of you all. You'll have inspired me, and I'm sure you'll have inspired everybody else on the show. We are definitely getting you, Huna. I don't know if Noor is coming, but I definitely want Huna here. Yeah.
Huna
And
Hina, yes.
oh, yeah, hey, that's a nice one. Huna Hina. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And shukran, everyone. Thank you once again, Reem and Noor.